What up, what up, what up, people of Earth? It is time for some Who News. News you probably won't remember next week. That's alright because we'll come back with some more news for you next week. We know you get sick. We know you get tired. The same old stuff. War, digital currency, Ukraine. So that's why we're here to give you something else. A little bit of a alternative news while I drink my coffee. Follow us on Instagram. Let's go. What's up, guys? Let's get into this news and get you on with your day. Who News, man? It's time for some stuff you're not going to remember next week. A woman loses 30 kilograms from hypnosis and now offers gym-based hypnotherapy. All right, let's take a look. Hannah Apperly is a hypnotherapist who can help you stick to your gym goals. How exciting. She's going to help you stick to your gym goals, you guys. A holistic hypnotherapist is helping people hit their gym goals and dream their way to fitness. And said a little bit of sleep therapy is just what some people need to keep the motivation up. Why are we starting with this story and not the Disney Dirty Dad story? We need to come back to this story. People are clicking X by the second on this one already. I can hear the X's getting clicked. I work as a Disney princess. Dads hit on me in front of their wives and kids. Wow. For most people, Disneyland is a magical getaway where you can meet your favorite animated movie characters. But for others, it's just another day at work. One woman who worked at Disneyland Park in California, America. We're on the website, themirror.co.uk, you guys. So when I start talking like I'm from another country, that's why. And if I gloss over some stories you hear me touch on a headline and we don't actually expound upon that topic, that's where you go to find that story. I digress. This woman has shared what it's really like working for the mouse as one of the most popular princesses in the park. She explained how she worked as Snow White for years after auditioning for a face role while she was studying English at college. That's University America, or UK rather. But while she had a mostly positive experience, she did have to put up with some questionable behavior from guess who? The dads at the park, being inappropriate, turned on by their childhood sweetheart, Snow White. What a bunch of pervs. She shared how, quote, creepy dads hit on her in front of their wives and children and claimed some would attempt to touch her inappropriately because they're like, we're at Disneyland. Let's get a hug. Let's get a cuddle pic together. Me and Snow White. This little cartoon character that I've always wanted to smash ever since I was a kid has now come to life. And I paid $70 to get in here. I can at least get a cuddle. She said, I've had a lot of people, mostly guys, ask to take a picture with me. I knew it. And when they come up next to me, they put their hand right on my butt. Wow. Oops. There's been a few occasions where guys and sometimes girls have come up to me and made explicit comments. Staying in character and trying to make sure kids don't notice that it happened can be difficult. When it came to her child visitors, she said the worst she experienced was accidental boob grabs. Accidental boob grabs. And an infant pulling on her wig. Yeah, because those are even in the same ballpark. She added on Reddit, it's scary because you think it's going to come right off. Or your boob? Oh, the wig. But wig pins work wonders. It still hurts, though. What an interesting story to get you started with Who News. The former Disney princess claims parents are usually worse to deal with than bratty children, saying the youngsters are still learning how to act. But parents can get impatient and rude after waiting in line for 45 minutes plus. They need more than one Snow White. We have more than one Santa Claus. We're at commentary cam now. We're over here. They have more than one Santa. Remember A Christmas Story, America? You know A Christmas Story. And then they were at the parade. And little Ralphie wanted to get his Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle. But they had to go talk to Santa. But they couldn't leave the parade until Santa went by. He's like, this isn't even the real Santa. The real Santa's down at the mall. 2 Snow Whites. That park's big. Maybe even... Oh. Anyway. My neighbor's bedroom antics. Right, let's get into this one because I think right now I have a neighbor. Let me get a little bit more comfortable and go back over to commentary cam. I've got a neighbor. I hope the windows are open. Many moons ago, last year some point, I had a partner and yeah, you know, these things happen. You get one that's a little bit louder than the other. She turns it up to 11. Well, I live in a very old buildings here in England, and they big stone and sound just echoes. Like when I lived in California up in Hollywood Hills, and just I had a neighbor and she would be getting it in, but you could hear it all through the neighborhood because it was in the mountains. And anyway, this woman doesn't speak to me anymore, and I think it's because of that. I don't care, but you kind of want to get along with your neighbors, right? And I've not done anything wrong other than it was summertime or spring, whatever the season. But you keep your windows open. It's hot. We don't have air conditioning in the houses here. America, it's an old country. Moving right along. My neighbor's bedroom antics are so loud that paint chips off my ceiling. That is some action. Wow. Paint chips. God dang. Paint chips? Whew. A woman has been left at her wit's end over her neighbor's constant loud noises. As she says their bedroom antics can get so noisy that paint chips off her ceiling. If you live in an apartment, then you know the importance of making sure you're not making too much noise on your floors, as any sound will travel down to the people living below you, especially if you have bare floorboards. Moral of this story already is never live downstairs. When I lived in Ascot, I lived downstairs, and oh boy, was it loud upstairs. I hear everything, and she didn't even have a TV, so I know she could hear everything from downstairs. Anyway, moving on. And while most of us will be happy to do what we can to make lives easier for our neighbors, one woman has discovered that the people living in the flat, I'll say flat occasionally, you guys, that's what they call an apartment over here. The flat above her aren't so considerate as they constantly stomp from room to room. That's a nightmare. That's why I will never live in an apartment, ever, as long as I don't have to. And if you do, be upstairs, as I mentioned. The woman claimed that on top of hearing her neighbors whenever they open a door or walk across the room, she can also hear them whenever they have... That's right. And insisted their bedroom antics are so loud, they make her walls shake. Damn, they getting it on. They be playing Marvin Gaye every day up in there. And have even caused the paint to chip off her ceiling. That's crazy. In a rant on Mom's Net, the woman said, I live in the middle flat of a townhouse conversion. Oh my God, she's getting it from both sides. The people above me have either laminate or bare floorboards. I have, so far, put up with the stomping and hearing every drawer open and slam shut. I feel you. I had neighbors that lived, I'm in a, what do they call, a semi-detached house. I have a neighbor, we share one wall. And there was 3 of them. They had one bathroom, and the girl was living there with her parents because she went to the school here in town. And oh boy, every morning at like 7 a.m., blam, 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 doors opening, bathroom door opening and shutting 6 times. Crazy. Anyway, moving right along. We're running short on time, so I got to stop gabbing. Lately, it's got ridiculous, in my opinion. Last summer, they came in and had absolutely wild sex with the windows open. I have a feeling that this is a story about me. I could hear every single thing. I thought it was a mistake, a drunken one-night stand, and they forgot that we live inside a drum. I snuck out of the room directly below and waited an hour or so, and it all seemed fine. I thought everyone makes mistakes. Can't we all just get a pass? A get out of jail free card for one lousy, loud sex romp? You're going to ruin the neighborhood relationship dynamic? Anyway, it's woken me up in the night, so I put headphones on with meditation music and the baby monitor sound. I can still hear the thumping and... She needs to move. I can still hear the thumping and stomping around, though, through it. The woman says she's been to speak to her local council about the racket, but has claimed they won't do anything because it's deemed to be everyday noise, and have told her to speak to her neighbor directly. However, The woman feels she can't approach the neighbors because she doesn't feel comfortable doing so and doesn't believe it should be her responsibility. Well, kinda. She added, it feels like there's no consideration. They don't know that they're going right above your head. The council say nothing can be done about everyday noise, but surely there's a limit. The walls shake. My doors rattle. Now, America, one thing you have to realize here about this story and why you're probably like, wow, what are they, like really giant people? These are old places here. I mean, like the old places. There's a building across the street from my house that's almost as old as America. So a lot of these places are small, really small. It's why the cars are so small, because the roads are so small, because there weren't a lot of people when they built this place. And the houses are old. And a lot of people live in conversions like this woman did. That wasn't meant to be what it is. Anyway, in her post, the woman also said she believed her neighbors can hear her as much as she can hear them, and accused them of listening to her phone conversations, as well as purposefully making more noise whenever she's using her sewing machine. But commenters on the post said it was unlikely her neighbors could hear her, as the way sound travels means you're more likely to hear noise from people living above you than those below you. Unfortunate for this woman. I feel really bad for her because I've been through it. When I lived on 8 Mile in Detroit, that's when I had some neighbors that lived upstairs. And I had a woman that lived up there by herself at first, and she was loud. She would walk back and forth nonstop. And then there was a creaky board right between the living room and the kitchen. Every time she crossed that threshold, drove me nuts. Anyway. Hypnosis at the gym or $100,000 for a Great Dane plane ride. Child-free neighborhoods is also something very exciting. Let's touch on this hypnosis really quickly. We're how much time do we got? All right. A woman says she's lost 30 kilograms through hypnosis and it was so inspired. Now she works as a hypnotherapist and wants to help you. Hannah Apperly, 28, struggled with motivation when it came to going to the gym, and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't shift the weight she wanted to lose. Instead of supplements or strict regimen, Hannah from London turned to hypnotherapy, and soon she went from couch potato to gym fantastic. So hypnosis at the gym, guys. See if you can get that implemented at your local health club. I don't know if I'd want to go to the gym for hypnotherapy. It might be kind of loud and disruptive. Woman's game-changing tip for cutting potatoes guarantees equal slice each time. You know where you can find that nonsense story? Drivers left gobsmacked after learning petrol nozzle hack is a waste of time and money. Ooh, gobsmacked. I booked a one-way ticket abroad for a man I just met. He ended things before I landed. Right. A one-way ticket for somebody you haven't even met? You were probably in a plane and came home and your house was burglarized. A woman has claimed that she was savagely dumped by a man 10 days into their whirlwind romance. 10 days? But that didn't stop her from having a trip of a lifetime. Sophie Burns, who appears to reside in California, was ecstatic when she was asked to spend the summer in Berlin, Germany, with a man that she met at her local farmer's market. Okay, so they haven't met in person. Willing to drop everything for a summer of fun, Sophie's world quickly came tumbling down when she was dumped before the plane had even landed. Wow, you could have at least let her go before she left the house. The TikToker, who boasts more than 75,000 followers under the account Sophie Loves Sophie Burns, had touched down in Barcelona, Spain, when she got the call to say that the man had met another woman. That's crazy. Her video has gotten 3.6 million views. We need to try and find her and get her on the podcast on the Vaughn Joseph Show. If you like more in-depth podcasts, feel free to check out the Vaughn Joseph Show. We will be relaunching next week. I'm off to a trip, or that's not a trip. I'm off to work up in Scotland in a couple hours. I still need to pack. My car arrives in 2 hours. In 2 hours, so I got to get off at this podcast. That's why I'm trying to get you this stuff quick, and that's why I'm drinking this coffee. Woman claims we're opening our McDonald's sauces wrong, and fast food fans are floored. You're floored because you're a fast food fan. That's why you're floored. You're probably having a heart attack. Call 911. Couple charter 80,000 pound private jet to fly their Great Dane across the world. That's about $100,000 US, people of America. That's a very wealthy family for one, and a dog that they love. Wow, they're in their 20s. God dang. A couple chartered an 80,000-pound private jet for their hefty dogs, plural, so they could travel the world with their pack of pooches. Damn. Melanie Demi, 26, and her husband Albert, 27, an account executive, dreamed of traveling Europe with their 3 dogs. Great Dane Lucas, 2, Golden Retriever Cooper, 15, and Dachshund Mix Brooklyn, 6. The couple saved 36,000 pounds over 2 years to turn their dream into a reality, selling all their belongings, including their car, to fund their adventure. After forking out for their private jet, alongside fellow pet lovers who all chipped in, from Austin, Texas, to Paris, France in September. The pair and their dogs have visited 6 countries so far, including France, Germany, Austria, Czechia, England, and Scotland. I wish I had known they were going to be here. I would have had them on the Vaughn Joseph Show. That would have been a great interview, and all their dogs. Once in Europe, they hired cars and traveled by train from country to country. The jet setters work remotely and have been on the road for 4 months, staying at dog-friendly Airbnbs and plan to keep going until November 2023. So they're still out here somewhere. I need to try and find these people. They might be these pictures are in Glasgow, though, so they've probably already made their way through here. I'll go to them. It'd probably be easier than having them come here. But now the dogs have seen Paris, Prague, Vienna, and we're planning to drive around the Scottish Highlands. We've saved around $45,000 over 2 years and sold everything we had to be able to afford it. The dogs might not know where they are, but they love exploring new places. And it's about having them with us. And that's a great story. It's not weird news. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's a cool story. It's kind of interesting. I mean, that's a bit wild. Let's get on with this last story, because we gotta go. Man apologizes for scaring neighbors with late-night exercise routine. My noisy neighbor complained about my kids, but will never again after our revenge. Ooh, I'm tempted to click on that one. I'm really tempted. We don't have time. Oh, I really want that one. Woman calling for child-free neighborhoods for those who hate kids sparks debate. There should be a lot of child-free zones, in my opinion. I don't hate kids, but there's just certain times where you just don't want to deal with children. Airplanes. I'm on the train into London on Saturday. These kids are screaming right behind me. I'm like, nah, give them their own car. Moms would appreciate that anyway. I gave up my seat to a woman because she had 2 kids. And I had, I was in one of those 4-seater sections. I definitely didn't want to sit next to her and her kids. I'm sure they've sat over there. I'm like, don't sit in 2 separate rows of seats. Take my seat. Anyway, woman calling for child-free neighborhoods. If you've ever been minding your own business, relaxing in your garden, or trying to read a book in peace in your house, and heard a child screeching at the top of their lungs, you may feel frustrated and curse underneath your breath. Not if I'm in my own house. Usually that moment of frustration subsides. However, as we find compassion for kids and their parents trying to soothe them, one woman has taken her frustration a step further, however, after she's made calls for adult-only suburbs with a strict no kids allowed rule. Wow. Soja, aka Soy Baby __, took to TikTok to ask when is somebody planning on opening an adults-only suburb. She's from Australia, Melbourne. She captioned the video, "I know I'm evil, but they're so loud. Please, I want peace and quiet. Are there adults-only pools in Melbourne?" Wow, she ain't ever having kids. She looks young, too. She looks like she's like 25. Did I say her age? No. She looks like she's like 23 years old, maybe. She said she wanted everything in it to be only for adults. Soja explained her reasoning for the extreme demand, saying, "I'm so sick of going places and kids are just everywhere screaming, and I just have to put up with it." They have senior communities. You have to be a certain age. Why can't we have communities for adults that don't want to be around kids? Come on. I just went for a swim and they have their own pool. And they're in the lap lane pool, not swimming laps. just jumping in and screaming, and it's just allowed because they're allowed everywhere. They're like mice or ants or oxygen. I just feel like for people like me that are evil and hate kids, we should have our own suburb where we can just be quiet and undisturbed. Yeah, they're called Disney theme parks. Those are on their way too. In the comments, some people slammed the woman for being so against kids. One TikToker reminding her that she used to be a kid, writing, "You used to be a kid, mate, you know? So just get over getting older." "This is called a retirement village, baby," someone joked. And she responded, I wish they'd let me move in already." Facts. One mom wrote, "As a parent of 2 small children, I completely understand what you're saying and respect that child-free people need space too." And another agreed. I like that. At least the mom wasn't like, "How dare you?" That's crazy. That's news. That's weird stuff that you won't give a dizzy about next week. Maybe not even by the time you go to the next YouTube video. Who knows, man? It's just news, so who knows? I don't know. Let's go. Peace.